Hello, it's Boris here with an update on the traffic light system for countries. Me and the Cabinet have been having quite a lot of funsies with this. It's like pin the tail on the donkey, except here you spin the globe and you pin on the colour. Bosh, 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 red, red, red. In all seriousness, we had been following the science, but then we decided maybe it's about time we followed the football. So we made Portugal green. Now that Michael Gove and his son are back from watching the football, bosh, we've turned it to amber. Not only does this completely bugger about all of the tourists that were there having a holiday to escape this little festering turd of an island that's gone downhill since the Tory twats put me in power, but it means that anybody else that wants to book a holiday this summer won't have a clue whether they can book it or not. Brilliant. Everybody's looking to me for permission for everything. You can call me Emperor Johnson. Soon, British people will need to ask me for permission before they so much as take a piss. I told you it was 3 weeks to flatten the curve, and you believed me. Then I told you it was about deaths and hospitalisations. You believed that too. You even clapped at the sky when I told you to. Then it was about cases, and then it was about vaccination rates over the age of 60, then over the age of 50. And now it's about vaccination rates for 12 to 15-year-old kids that definitely don't need this shit in their arms anyway. And you still believe me, and now we're talking about variants. There was the Indian variant that sounded nicely like a curry.
Things to say about this label. It's being used in a disparaging way against people like me who reject the COVID jab. Because of course anti-vaxxer makes us all sound like madmen, doesn't it? Like we want to dance with the druids round Stonehenge, or we want to basket weave our own Birkenstocks, knit our own yoghurt, and possibly recycle old tea bags as Tampax. What we actually are, of course, is not anti-vaxxers, because I've had plenty of other vaccines. What I think we are is body confident. We're confident in our body's awesome ability to take care of itself if we look after our own bodies. You know, it's well known that I'm not a big fan of chubby boom booms, because usually I have to pay for their new knees or their new hips. And yet they get the term body positive, even though they're actually morbidly obese. So I think people that reject the COVID jab are actually body confident. You're confident in your own body. And conversely, of course, when you think about people who love something, like people who love Europe are called Europhiles, right? So we could call these people who love the COVID jab, can't get enough of it, we could call them pharmaphiles, couldn't we? Because they love big pharma. And just like the word paedophile, these pharmaphiles also want to fiddle with our children. You're not an anti-vaxxer, you're body confident, and you trust in your body's awesome ability to take care of itself.
It's just after 5:30 in the morning here, and I have been awake for hours, unable to sleep. If there's one name you talk about today, maybe you could look it up. Maybe you can DuckDuckGo it. Lisa Shaw. Lisa Shaw is the 44-year-old BBC presenter who died following her injection with the AstraZeneca vaccine. She's 44 years old. And the media went with the scripted line that she died after a short illness. And I'm now in touch with people close to her family. And it's the family that are having to do the horrible job of trying to put the truth out of there, probably in a way of them trying to cope with what they're dealing with, which none of us can understand. Lisa was perfectly healthy, more like ambitiously fit. She had a 7-year-old son. She had that damn vaccine, and then she ended up in an ambulance. She had a blood clot on her brain, and they were trying to release the pressure of this thing. And believe me, as someone who's had a big part of their skull removed, many people have felt it themselves. When they start removing your skull, you're about as close to death as you can be. And this vaccine basically was attacking her own brain. And yet the media wouldn't talk of it. On this text here, the hospital told them it would definitely not be documented that it was the vaccine. And look at the headlines. Families say she died after the vaccine. Families say, no, she did. She did. And they're going to try and sweep this under the carpet as hard as they can. And it breaks my heart that I used to ever be a part of any of that nonsense media. So let's remember, it's not a statistical thing. They say, oh, but the risk is still really low. Out of 32 million people that have had it, only 303 people have had issues. I don't care about your statistics. A 44-year-old lady, a brilliant lady, a daughter and a wife and a mother of a 7-year-old child, is dead, had part of her head removed because of a vaccine that is at best experimental. And here in America, they're starting to hand out lottery tickets so that you can win $1 million if you have this thing. So please don't comment about what I've been saying. Please don't feel the need to put this anywhere. Just take the name Lisa Shaw. Please look it up. And please understand that her family know and were with her that the vaccine was responsible for the death of this brilliant, brilliant woman.